One man in hospital on land just a short distance from what was once the Douglas Creek Estates has reignited anger on all sides. Our Michelle DeBay is in Caledonia tonight and has the latest. Good evening, Michelle.
Hello, Nick. Well, it's been quite a night here on this street in Caledonia. Behind me, the OPP are there. They're going to be here around the development site all night. They're here to keep the peace, but also they're investigating a crime scene. To keep you up to speed on what's been going on, have a look at this.
And I put up with enough. You want two sets of rules or you want one set of rules?
Residents near this Sterling Street housing development are fed up, and they gather to vent their frustrations to police.
Because we've been down this road before, and this is, to borrow a page from recent history, this looks like we're going to see the same thing all over again.
At around 7 a.m., Six Nations protesters showed up at this Sterling Street construction site to try and stop any more development.
We want no construction within our jurisdiction of the treaties, which is 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. So we decided that it's time for us to take action since nobody's listening to us.
Protesters put up signs and flags as they occupied the site.
Get off the scaffold.
Construction workers continued, but eventually they stopped and negotiations began between a native lawyer and the builders. Meanwhile, what seemed like a step in a positive direction was shattered by violence. A man was taken to hospital unconscious. His name is Sam Gulteri, and he was badly beaten inside one of the homes. As for what happened, it depends on who you ask.
The owner of this house built this house for his daughter, comes in here, they check on it, they got kids in there vandalizing, and then they beat him up.
And then they ran in the house, and then they started hitting our people. Our boys are just defending themselves. Yeah.
Now, this latest occupation in Caledonia has become much more complicated.
We actually are treating this area over here as a crime scene, and that is advancing things along just a little bit more than under normal circumstances.
That man you just saw there, that was John. He's the developer of this construction site around here. Earlier he was speaking out to area residents, letting them know, reassuring them that they're going to go into some negotiations tomorrow with Six Nations and the developers, try to come to some sort of resolution. He says he's quite positive about how things might go. For now, though, we got the OPP over here. They're going to stay here all night investigating the incident earlier where the man was injured. And we'll be following this story and let you know as soon as we know. Nick?
Absolutely, we sure will. Michelle DeBay live tonight in Caledonia. The attack, which has set the latest tension level to where it is, was transferred to Hamilton General Hospital this evening. His family is furious about the incident and is calling on the Premier to show some leadership on this issue. 45-year-old Joe Gulteri doesn't mince words when he talks about why his brother Sam is lying in a hospital bed right now.
This is terrorism in our backyard.
Joe's brother was wheeled out of one of two homes he was building for two of his daughters when Joe says he was attacked by some native protesters inside the unfinished house.
They were inside this house, up the stairs. He asked them to leave the property. They wouldn't leave. They became violent. They hit my brother. There was 4 Indians in the property itself when they attacked him and his partners. It was only until my brother was down on the ground where one of my nephews said, "He's dead, leave, he's dead." They were still beating him with a baseball bat and he was unconscious.
The attack has left Sam with serious injuries. Among other things, he's being monitored for possible brain injuries.
He's got a fractured nose and possibly bleeding some fluids in his spine as well.
Yep. The frightening incident has the entire family visibly upset tonight, and they're laying much of the blame for this at the feet of the Premier. And near the end of a campaign stop in Kitchener, while the Premier was shaking hands with supporters, a reporter asked him what he was going to do about the situation currently in Caledonia.
The only way we're going to resolve these things is through negotiation at the table.
And you hope to take some leadership because that's what the regional chair is asking you to do.
My job is to keep the peace. The federal government's got to resolve a land claim that's over 150 years old.
And with that, the Premier and his wife were finished for the day, stepping onto the campaign bus away from the chants of support and calls for stronger leadership. Now, CHCH News did try to reach the OPP this evening to find out more about the investigation, but nobody in the Caledonia detachment was available to give us any information.